Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a video. On this video I'll be doing the 8 values quiz. It's an interesting political test, so I'm gonna read these out so you understand what this is. But effectively there are these 4 axes, and these 4 axes have 2 values, and you're rated on these values. So 8 values is in essence a political quiz that attempts to assign percentages for 8 different political values. You'll be presented by a statement, and then you will answer with your opinion on the statement from strongly agree to strongly disagree, with each answer slightly affecting your scores. At the end of the quiz, your answers will be compared to the maximum possible for its value, thus giving you a percentage. Answer honestly. What are the 8 values? There are 4 independent axes: economic, diplomatic, state and society, and each has 2 opposing values assigned to them. They are equality, economic. Those with higher equality scores believe the economy should distribute value evenly amongst the populace. They tend to support progressive tax codes, social programs, and a high value socialism. Markets. Those with higher market scores believe the economy should be focused on rapid growth. They tend to support lower taxes, privatization, deregulation, and high values laissez-faire capitalism. Nation, diplomatic. Those with higher nation scores are patriotic and nationalist. They often believe in aggressive foreign policy, valuing the military strength, sovereignty, and a high values territorial expansion. Globe. Those with higher globe scores are more cosmopolitan and globalist. They often believe in a peaceful foreign policy, emphasizing diplomacy, cooperation, integration, and high values of world government. Liberty. Those with higher liberty scores believe in strong civil liberties. They tend to support democracy and oppose state intervention in personal lives. Note that this refers to civil liberties, not economic liberties. Economic liberties being covered in the markets category. Authority. Those with higher authority scores believe in strong state power. They tend to support state intervention in personal lives, government surveillance, and high value censorship or autocracy. Tradition, society. Those with higher tradition scores believe in traditional values and strict adherence to a moral code. Though not always, they're usually religious, support the status quo or the status quo ante. Progress. Those with higher progress scores believe in social change and rationality, though not always, they're usually secular or atheist and support environmental action in scientific or technological research. What's the closest match thing? Oh yeah, they attempt to match you to a political ideology, but this is a work in progress and is much less accurate than the values and axes, so don't take it too seriously. Okay. Alright folks, so let's begin. You'll be presented with a series of statements. For each one, click the button with your opinion on it. Got it. Oppression by corporations is more of a concern than oppression by governments. It's not. It's not. Look, oppression by corporations, you can deal with it through government. Oppression by governments, you can't deal with oppression by governments through corporations. Oppression by government is more serious than oppression by corporations. It just is. Oppression by corporations is still a major concern though. It still is. So disagree. Slightly disagree. It's necessary for the government to intervene in the economy to protect consumers. Absolutely. Strongly agree. The free of the market, the free of the people. Not necessarily. It's better to maintain a balanced budget than to ensure welfare for all citizens. Fuck no. Fuck no. I mean, listen. People require welfare. There are people out there who genuinely require welfare. To take that away from them, to balance the budget, when in fact, like, no fucking country on the planet balances its budget. No country. No country has a balanced budget. Seriously, no fucking country on the planet. You can look at any country on the planet. You know, modern economies don't work that way. Thing is, you know. So, I mean, I don't want people. It would be nice to have a balanced budget, but I don't want people to go without their welfare when they need it. I don't want the people who need this stuff. I mean, this stuff is there in the first place for those who need it. And there are people who genuinely need this stuff. Publicly funded research is more beneficial to the people than living into the market. There are certain things the market won't touch when they're researching stuff, because it's just not profitable, and there you're gonna need publicly funded research, so agree. International trade is beneficial. Yeah. From each according to his ability, to each according to his need. No. It would be best if social programs are abolished in favor of private charity. Fuck no. For the reasons I mentioned before, there are people who genuinely need them, and charities have only like limited reach, limited resources. Well, much more limited than government. You know, sure, government doesn't have these things unlimited, but government has a fucking abundance of resources and resources, knowledge. They've got files with all the citizens in them. It's easy to find the people who need help and those who don't. You can't compete with the state. No charity could ever compete with the state. No matter how big it is, how well funded it is, it can't. It really can't. Taxes should be increased on the rich to provide for the poor. not to provide for the poor, but they should be increased on the rich. Yeah. Inheritance is a legitimate form of wealth? Absolutely. Public utilities like roads and electricity should be publicly owned? Fuck yeah. Excessive government intervention is a threat to the economy? Could be. Those with the greater ability to pay should receive better healthcare? Yeah. I mean, you know, if we're gonna be logical about it, that's just what's gonna happen. It's the sort of the logical consequence. Unless you ban private healthcare, those with the ability to pay will be receiving better healthcare. Quality education is the right of all people? Absolutely. The means of production should belong to the workers who use them? Fuck no. The United Nations should be abolished? No. Military action by our nation is often necessary to protect it? Absolutely. I support regional unions such as the European Union? Fuck no. It's important to maintain our national sovereignty? Yup. A united world government would be beneficial to mankind? No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't be beneficial to mankind. It wouldn't. It would be an Orwellian fucking surveillance state. It would be an Orwellian police state. It would be fucking a surveillance state. It would be anything. Anything terrible about the world. It would be totalitarian as shit. You know, we're talking like, imagine China ruling the world. That's what a united world government would be like. So, fuck no. It's more important to retain peaceful relations to further our strength? Yeah, I like peace. Wars do not need to be justified to other countries? Actually they do. Military spending is a waste of money? Fuck no. International aid is a waste of money? I mean, I don't know. My nation is great? Fuck yeah. Research should be conducted on an international scale? Yeah, okay, fair enough. Government should be accountable to the international community? Yeah. Even when protesting an authoritarian government, violence is not acceptable? Fuck no. Violence is acceptable if you're going against an authoritarian or totalitarian government. It just is. My religious values should be spread as much as possible? Nope. Our nation's values should be spread as much as possible? Yeah. It's very important to maintain law and order. Not as important as this quiz would have, would like me to believe if I were to click OK on that. The general populace makes poor decisions? Fuck off. Victimless crimes such as drug use should not be crimes at all? Yup. The sacrifice of some civil liberties is necessary to protect us from acts of terrorism. You see, here's the thing, right? If I am to stand on principle, I would have to disagree with this. I would really have to disagree with this. But in the current situation, it might very well be necessary. But, you know, I'm gonna stand on principle on this question. I really am. Because, here's the thing, right? The intelligence agencies know who these people are. In a lot of cases, these terrorists were tracked by the intelligence agencies. And yet they did nothing. They didn't act. They didn't fucking act. Not because they couldn't act. They could. They just didn't. No one gave the order. We can, without sacrificing more civil liberties, and without becoming police and surveillance states, we can find these terrorists. We can wipe the terrorists out. We can invade the places ISIS has conquered with an international force and restore order to these places. We can stop funding these groups. You know, America can stop funding these fucking groups. These fucking Syrian opposition, all this other shit that are fucking supposedly secular rebels, but are actually just in partnership with fucking ISIS. I mean, you know, we can support the regional dictators. It's better than the country going to shit now, isn't it? You know, you call them. Here's another thing, right? They're often called dictators, right? Sure, okay, they're dictators, but women can walk on those streets wearing fucking jeans and tank tops, and nothing's gonna happen to them because of these dictators. People were given free houses, free education, free healthcare, free fucking food by these dictators. I mean, look at Libya, right? People were given all this stuff. You know, they were helped. The poorest in society were helped. You call them dictators, but that doesn't mean anything to me, because what happens is these people get toppled. Then you have an Islamic democracy, and suddenly you have persecution of minorities, suddenly you have oppression of women, suddenly you have the death of gays, suddenly you have all this other shit that shouldn't be fucking happening. A lot of this wasn't happening during the dictatorship. You know, I support democracies from the point of view that people with democracy, when people are given democracy, they will naturally increase their civil and political rights. But that's not what happens in the Middle East. In the Middle East, what you get is a fucking tyranny by the male majority. That's what you get in the Middle East. Just complete and utter persecution and oppression. Just persecution of those who are different and oppression of those who are not different enough to be persecuted. I mean, fuck, dude. If literally democracy in the Middle East literally means erosion of civil and political freedoms. Actually, not political, but civil freedoms are gone in democracies in the Middle East. Political freedoms are there. That's it. You're trading civil freedoms for political freedoms. I would much rather be ruled by a fucking dictator who gave me all the civil rights I wanted than to be ruled, than to have all the political rights in the world and being unable to give myself civil rights. I would much rather. So I have to disagree with this. I really do. Just on principle. And I know I kind of went a bit, I was a bit sidetracked there about the whole point I was making about terrorism and dictators. But, I'll disagree with this. Government surveillance is necessary in the modern world. Again, if we have enough surveillance as it is. We don't need to increase it. The very existence of the state is a threat to our liberty. No. Regardless of political opinions, it's more to decide with your country. Yeah, it is. You have to show some unity during important stages in your life. For example, in Britain right now, the European Union is seeing that there are still people who are, Remainers, and they've kind of stopped now, but they were pretty strong after the Brexit vote. People who were in favor of Remain and wanted a second referendum, or they wanted to just outright ignore the referendum. They wanted the government to ignore the referendum. These types of people. You had these types of people, and in that situation, the European Union was seeing that, and they were exploiting the fact that these people were out there. They were using it for leverage against Britain. In that case, what the Remainers should have done was stick with the popular opinion, regardless of their own political opinions. They should have stuck with the course the country took, and showed fucking unity to their Brexit brothers. So I have to agree with this. No authority should be left unquestioned. Absolutely. Hierarchical state is best. A hierarchical state is the only state. There is no other way you can have a state. It's important that the government follow the majority opinion if it's wrong. Yeah, absolutely. It's called democracy, folks. And here's the thing, right? Even if it's wrong, that's why we have constitutions. It's the reason we have protections for minorities in our constitutions. It's so the majority cannot, the majority opinion can't force something that is wrong. And going back to my point about Islamic democracies, that's what they don't have. Protection of minorities. Or they have it like de jure in the law, but they don't have it de facto. Like it's not, no one is enforcing it if it exists in their constitutions. So, yeah, I'd have to say strongly agree. The stronger the leadership, the better. Not necessarily. Democracy is more than a decision-making process. Absolutely. Environmental regulations are essential. Yeah. I want a good environment. A better world will come from automation, science, and technology. Yeah. Children should be educated in religious or traditional values. No. Traditions are of no value on their own. No. Religion should play a role in government. Fuck no. Churches should be taxed the same way other institutions are taxed. Fuck yeah. Climate change is currently one of the greatest threats to our way of life. No. It's important that we work as a united world to combat climate change. It's the only way we can combat climate change, if we work as a united world. So yeah. Society was better many years ago than it is now. Fuck no. It's important that we maintain the traditions of our past. I have to slightly disagree. Just slightly. Some traditions need to be kept, but some need to be done away with. I live in a really traditional country, and some of the stuff we do is just nonsensical. It's important that we think beyond we think in the long term, beyond our lifespans. Not necessarily. A reason is more important than maintaining our culture. Well, I have to agree. Irrational. I don't see why irrational traditions need to be kept. Drug use should be legalized or decriminalized. Yep. Same-sex marriage should be legal. Yep. No culture is superior to others. Fuck no. There are cultures that are superior to others. Absolutely. There's. If you're gonna talk about progress, if you're gonna say that, giving women the right to vote was progress on our part, like cultural progress on our society, then that means that cultures that don't give women the right to vote, like Saudi Arabia, like a lot of other countries, cultures that don't give women the same rights that we have, are culturally inferior. If you're gonna accept that we've progressed as a culture, then that means that cultures that haven't reached our level are inferior. There's this cognitive dissonance in people who think that all cultures are equal, and yet think that what we've done, where we've given women rights, and we've given gays rights, and we've given all these people rights, is progress. If you think that it's progress, then not all cultures are equal. It's as simple as that. It's either one or the other. You can't have cultural progress if all cultures are equal. Sex after marriage is immoral. Fuck no. If we accept migrants at all, it's important that they assimilate into our culture. Yup. Abortion should be prohibited in most or all cases. Yeah. Gun ownership should be prohibited for those without a valid religion. Who are you to say what should be prohibited? Who are you to say what's a valid reason? I mean, fuck. Where does that come from? No. I support single-payer universal healthcare. Fuck yeah. Prostitution should be illegal. No. Absolutely not. Maintaining family values is essential. To chase progress at all costs is dangerous. It can be. Genetic modification is a force for good even on humans. If it's well regulated, I can see how it could be a force for good. We should open our borders to immigration. Fuck no. Government should be as concerned about foreign citizens as they are about those within their borders. No. No. Absolutely not. What is this neocon bullshit? No. No. Listen, this is a terrible idea, and I really need to explain this. The governments and nation states are created so that government and that nation state has, is the only one that should be concerned about its citizens. You have a state with certain citizens, right? That state should care about its citizens and let other states care about their citizens. This as a policy is going to create chaos in the world. It's gonna be chaos and war. That's what it's gonna be. Because a bunch of moral busybodies on one country will look at the poor peasants of the other country and will try to liberate them. I mean, think about this, right? Imagine if the country next door is fucking communist, and they see that you've got like you live in a country that doesn't have a lot of benefits, that doesn't have like a big welfare state, right? That doesn't help its poor a lot, that doesn't give the poor a lot of help. I mean, imagine if they look at you and then they fucking invade you because they care about your citizens. That would be a shitty thing. That would be a really shitty thing, wouldn't it? I mean, fuck, no. No, strongly disagree. All people, regardless of factors like culture or sexuality, should be treated equally. No. No, with sexuality I agree, but with culture I don't. If they're treated equally under the law, yes. They should be treated, both people who have different cultures and different sexualities should be treated equally under the law. But if we're talking by society, then no, other cultures should not be treated equally to our by society, to our culture by society. With sexuality it's different. I think they should be treated equally. It's important that we further my group's goals above all others. Oh, you are playing for your team, so yeah. So 56.1 equality leaning, 68.6 nation leaning. So in the economic axis I'm an equality leaning centrist. In diplomatic axis I'm straight up patriotic, 68.6%. Civil axis I'm moderate with 60% liberty, 40% authority. And the societal axis, I'm progressive with 62.1% progress, 37.9% tradition. Closest match, centrist. Well, I consider myself a social liberal, and I also consider myself to be a liberal nationalist. So, I mean, I am a liberal nationalist. Look at this: 60% liberty, 68.6% nation, and 62.1% progress. That's pretty fucking liberal. If you look at my civil axis and my societal axis, those are pretty fucking liberal. My economic axis is pretty left-wing. Just left-leaning, I'm left-leaning economically, and my diplomatic axis is pretty nationalist. So, you know, if you take all these together, I am a liberal nationalist. So yeah, that was the quiz. You can find the description below if you wanna take it yourself, and I had fun, I guess. I think it's accurate enough. I don't know why it says moderate here. I mean, 60-40 isn't exactly moderate now, is it? Come on. 60-40 isn't moderate. And here's the thing, the societal axis, for example, it doesn't say neutral. So what it seems this quiz is doing is, if you get more than 60.0%, you're no longer moderate. But I don't think you should be moderate if you get 60%. I think if you get more than like, I think if you get more than like 57, you shouldn't be considered a centrist or a moderate in any category. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and have a fantastic